JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 20th of October 2021. So yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Wednesday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, as always, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website, and specifically our JFD research page, which we also update on a daily basis. So you have to check us out here on jfdbank.com, and yeah, click on the research tab right there on the top. So now then, let's jump into the charts. Like I said, I'll have a look at some of them that looked at recently. So the first one I want to begin here with Nikkei. So far, the idea here worked out nicely. So yes, we had a nice push higher. We had a test of this. Well, actually, almost just fell shy by a few points, but we'll take that as a good achievement, good result. So we managed to kind of come closer to this downside line taken from the high of the 14th of September, and this is where the acceleration kind of got held. So the up move got held here. So currently, I would say we'll take a bit of a neutral stand here, because again, I want to see what's going to happen here with this downside line, if we're going to push further north, or actually we're going to get a bit of a corrective move lower. So I would say that if this downside line somehow continues to provide resistance, then certainly yes, we could aim for a bit of a retracement back down here, but initially I'll aim for that 21-day EMA or the 100-day EMA, shown here is the green line, and then we'll take it from there, because if it does provide some sort of support, then maybe a nice little rebound here could be possible. And yes, we could maybe then go and break this downside line. However, either way, guys, if you're looking for the upside, and if you're looking to be a little bit more careful here, then probably the safer option is just to wait for a break of this downside line, and then of course a push above the today's high, which is roughly around that 29,489 level here. A nice good pop above it would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and potentially more buyers could join in here, and then we could aim for these slightly higher levels here, like for example the high of the 27th of September, or the highest point of September. Now, in terms of the downside, well, I would rather maybe stick to the same level as I mentioned before, this 28,581 zone, in order to get a little bit more excited with maybe slightly lower levels. Shanghai Composite, very quickly on that one, so continues to trade above this upside line. So this is what I mentioned recently. So we're still running nicely here above this upside line, which is drawn from the low of the 28th of July. However, as I've mentioned before as well, that in a way, in order to get a little bit more maybe comfortable with the upside, I would rather maybe stick to a break of this 3,615 level, because as you can see, up until that level, I mean, we keep trying to make our way higher here, but keep then falling back down. So that's why maybe rather just stick to this barrier for now. I mean, yes, we're cautiously bullish here, but just to be a little bit more comfortable with the upside in the near term, yes, a break above this level here would be needed. In terms of the downside now, this is where I need to get rid of this downside line, no longer needed. And in a way, if you're looking for some lower levels, then excuse me, then maybe, just maybe, we could already start picking up on this level, the 3,560. That's the low of the low of yesterday. Of course, we do have the current lowest point of this week near the 3,539 territory, but again, maybe a bit of a territory that we could be missing out. So, like I said, we could start looking at lower levels if we drop below this 3,560 zone, because at the same time we would break this upside line to this one taken from the low of the 28th of July. The German index DAX. So yeah, we had a good move, or actually kind of relatively good move higher. Basically, we just stayed in positive territory. But most importantly, that we still remain above this downside line taken from the high of the 31st of August. So this kind of could still mean that the bulls are not giving up and still could push the index higher. The cash index currently is trading at around 15,496 territory, so not far from yesterday's close. So, and again, above this downside line. So what I said before, and whenever we have a situation like this, when we, let's say, for example, in this case, we break the downside line, then the asset then tends to retrace back down, but somehow it just continues to slide alongside this downside line on top of it. And then we see a nice little rebound and a push higher. We see that something similar is happening in gold, for example, sometimes in silver. But here, in this picture, I mean, yes, we're getting kind of similar price action. Either way, guys, I mean, if you're looking for the upside here now, I would still maybe stick to a break of this 15,594 territory, the one that I spoke about recently. And this kind of also is not far from that current highest point, or actually, sorry, excuse me, the high of Friday, the highest point of last week. So we're still kind of below it, and if we do pop above this, then of course this could attract a few more buyers here. For the downside, we would need to see this one dropping back below the downside line, and then yes, we could consider maybe a bit of a retracement here to the downside. The Dow Jones Industrial Average. Dow Jones Industrial Average is continuing to move nicely to the upside, so everything's looking quite positive here. I mean, as I mentioned to you yesterday, that if we pop above that 35,327 territory, my next target is around the 35,510, or the all-time high here, which is around the 35,631 level, marked by the current all-time high, guys. The cash index is currently sitting at around 35,420 zones, so slightly below yesterday's close, but it's nothing critical here. For now, we're still also above this 35,327 territory. If we stay above it, then yes, I'll continue aiming higher. But if it starts falling below it, then I'll take a bit of a neutral stand. But and then if for me to consider maybe slightly lower levels, well, I would like to see a move back below the psychological 35,000 territory, and then yes, we could go for a test of the short-term upside line, tentative of course, but nevertheless an upside line still here, and we can see if it actually somehow plays out nicely. But if that gets broken, of course, lower levels could be met. But let's not forget that overall here, from around mid-July, the index is also stuck in this little range here. And let's see how it's going to play out. For now, near the upper side of that range, which is also the current all-time high, and then yeah, we'll just take it from there. If it breaks it, then well, that's wonderful for the bulls. We will then have a new all-time high, and then well, basically the sky's the limit for that one. DXY, the dollar index. So yesterday we violated this upside line, but as you can see, the bulls actually pushed the index back above it, and the index continues to trade above that upside line. So long story short, I would say that as long as it stays intact, or not actually not intact, but as long as it continues to provide support, then yes, nice maybe a little rebound here could be possible. However, as I said before, I would rather maybe stick to the 94.50 level, break of that area, in order to go for some higher levels, just because I am to be a little bit more on the safe side. I do understand we could be missing out on a bit of territory here, but what I don't want to see here maybe is just this one starting to form a range of some sort. But again, that's too early to talk about that. If in order to consider maybe that little range, we would need to see a nice rebound right now from this upside line, and then yeah, we could pick up on that idea. If, of course, this upside line gets broken, we see the daily candle body staying below this area, below this 93.68 territory, then, well, we'll go for a larger correction to the downside. US oil, which is WTI oil, and there we go, two shooting stars here, and kind of signaling a possible reversal. Well, let's see if that's going to happen or not. But for now, everything's looking quite interesting here for these. Could be for the sellers, especially if the if the commodity stays somewhere below this 82.15 level, or even better, if it stays and drops below, or first of all, of course, drops and then stays below the low of yesterday near the 81.83 zone. If we get a nice good move below it, then yes, we'll aim for lower levels, guys, but again, we'll be very careful, because as you can see, for example, when we previously had these little retracements, it didn't move lower, but for example, it didn't really reach that 21-day EMA. Instead, kind of reversed somewhere here and then pushed higher. So even if we see a drop below this area and we see the commodity falling and staying below this hurdle, yes, I'll consider maybe a bit of a retracement here, but I'll be very careful then near some of these levels instead of, let's say, the 21-day EMA or this upside line. And then we'll take it from there. For the upside, I would need to see a push above this 84.10 zone in order to go for some higher levels. Quick update on silver. So silver doing everything according to the plan. So the plan was yesterday when I talked about it, we were still hanging below, slightly below this 23.58 level. And when I was covering silver yesterday in my morning video, we were just around here, and I said that I'm leaning a little bit more towards the upside, especially if it pops above this barrier. And well, this is what happened. We popped and we pushed further north. We then retraced back down. However, as you can see, the bulls managed to keep the body of this daily candle above this hurdle, and today we're seeing a nice little continuation move higher. However, the problem with that is that we are getting a little hold up near the high of the 16th of September, which is around the 23.96 zone. And yeah, let's see if we can actually overcome that, because again, somehow it's currently providing some good resistance, but if we clear that and then we'll aim for some higher levels. Then we'll initially aim for that 100-day EMA or even the 200-day EMA. But like I said, let's not rush into anything for now. We'll slowly continue aiming higher, especially if we clear some of the obstacles in the way. Litecoin. So this one's although Bitcoin continues to rally nicely, some of the other cryptos are kind of lagging behind a little bit. So one of them is Litecoin. Yes, it is slowly grinding higher, but not. It doesn't move higher with, let's say, that strength as the top at the moment, the top currency, Bitcoin. So, long story short, if you're looking for some upside on this one, well, I would at least wait for a push above the current highest point of October, which is around the, well, let's maybe round it up here a little bit, the 193 level. And as you pop above it, may open the door towards higher levels, but even then we do have some obstacles on the way higher here, and which could provide maybe some sort of temporary hold up. For the downside, I would maybe, again, this is a bit of a tricky one, but let's probably draw this one either way. I mean, so this upside support line, taken from below the 29th of September, which, as you can see so far, kind of is doing its job. So if we break below it and stay below it, then this could increase the chances for a move lower. However, don't get me wrong, I mean, I'm not saying that that would be really strongly bearish here. No, it's just that we could aim for slightly lower levels. Maybe it could drift to the downside here. Maybe could test the 200-day EMA and then reverse back up. So you know, it's the crypto world that we're talking about. So for now, I would say let's keep it short and simple. If you're looking for some upside, then wait for a pop above the 193 territory. For the downside, I would rather stick to maybe a drop below this upside line first, and then kind of I would take it from there. Then I would initially aim for that 200-day EMA. But if that gets cleared, of course, the low of the 4th of October here could play out nicely, which is around the 161.48 level. Jumping into a few pairs, AUD USD. So I talked about this one, and yeah, so far so good for the bulls. I mean, what I said yesterday, that if we clear this highest point of September, which is around the 0.7478 level, then yes, this could open door towards higher levels. My next target is the area near this 0.7537 level, and near that 100% extension on the Fibonacci, well, 100% on the Fibonacci extension. So in other words, roughly, my next target is roughly around that 0.7540 zone, so approximately around here. Of course, don't get me wrong, if that gets cleared, then my next aim is this downside line taken from the high of the 25th of February. So in a way, we can say that what we are seeing right now here, this move not higher, could be just well, it could be just a temporary correction before another possible leg of selling. But again, let's not rush into anything, because this downside line is a bit on the tentative side. So if we would of course get a hold up here and then reverse back down, then yep, this could be that third touch, and just could show the strength of that downside line. But at the moment, it's just a tentative line, which I'm aiming for, of course. But again, let's keep it short and simple. For now, we can see that from the end of kind of September or the beginning of October, we did have already a nice decent rally. We could continue rallying, of course, especially if, for example, we stay above some of these support areas. So, and today I can see that although we had a bit of a drift lower, but this level here, the 78.6% on the Fibonacci extension, did somehow act as a nice area of support, and from here we rebounded and moved higher. So like I said, slowly, like I said, we'll continue aiming higher. For now, we're not seeing that reversal signal, so yep, that means that the bulls might remain in charge for at least until somewhere here near this 100% extension on the Fibonacci or this downside line. AUD JPY, so this one is on fire, guys, but it well, not but we managed to reach the target here. When my target was, if you remember, I talked about this pair last week as well, that if we continue to climb higher here, we overcome this 84.25 territory somewhere around here, then yes, the next target is the highest point of May near the 85.81 zone, which we managed to reach perfectly. So good little achievement here. Can we overcome that and continue pushing higher? Well, I mean, as you can see, we already tried to do that, and the bears are pushing the pair a little bit back down here. However, don't get me wrong, the day has just started, so could see that strong move further north, but at the moment, don't get me wrong, I mean, look at this move in general, kind of from the beginning of October, so we kind of already made around 500 pips here, at least. We're actually getting closer to the 600 pips. But now, can we get that little retracement? I mean, well, let's not rush into anything, of course. For now, let's keep an eye on this one, and especially keep your eyes on the highest point of May. If it somehow does provide resistance, then yes, maybe a bit of a retracement back down could be possible, and this is where we could include this maybe this Fibonacci here, and basically you can see how perfectly this 23.6% retracement on the Fibonacci is in line with these two levels, the one that I mentioned before, near that 84.26 zone, so and the 84.19 level. So basically, very good coincidence, I would say. Let's see if that somehow carries any significance or not. But for that, we would need to see a continued hold up near this 85.81 level. If it does that, then yes, a bit of a retracement could be possible. NZD USD, something also that I mentioned. So yep, we broke this downside line, we stayed above it, and what I said yesterday that I'll aim for that 0.7170 territory. This is going to be my next target, which is the highest point of September. We managed to reach that, so great achievement here. Now can we go further north? Again, at this point I would rather maybe get a bit of excuse me, get a bit of a weight here, and I want to see how it's going to perform near this barrier. If it holds, then yes, maybe a bit of a retracement back down here could be possible, and maybe a test of this downside line from above could be a good possibility, if I can express myself this way, of course. But yeah, for now, all eyes are on this level. I mean, we did have already quite a decent up move here. So let's see how this pair behaves in relation to this barrier. USD CAD, guys, very quickly. So now keep your eyes on it, because basically we see oil now retracing a little bit. Let's see if oil can actually go for a larger retracement. If it can, then well, we could expect USD CAD maybe popping back up here. But yeah, like I said, be very careful for now. If it falls and stays below the yesterday's low near the 1.2311, then yeah, lower levels could be met here, and our next target could be not far, of course, from that barrier, but still a potential target could be this the 1.2252 level, and then we would take it from there. But in terms of the upside, as I said, keep your eyes on the oil market. Let's see how that's gonna play out. But yeah, for now, maybe something like this could be possible here, where if we do see that retracement back to the upside. However, if this downside line somehow provides resistance, another slide could be possible. Now, US dollar against the Turkish Lira, guys. This is something that I wanted to pick up on. Of course, keep your eyes this week, not specifically today, but mainly tomorrow. Let me just quickly double check that, guys. Yeah, so we do have the overnight lending rate coming out from and 1 week repo rate coming out from Turkey. So the interest rate decision is expected on Thursday. Of course, the madness here that surrounds this pair, actually specifically this currency, the Turkish Lira. Yeah, this is not really the situation. The approach of the government doesn't really help the currency. Unless you're willing really to devalue your currency in order to make your exports a little bit more attractive. However, again, the real cause of this is not known. But let's see what we can do here from the technical side on this one. So for now, you can see that yesterday, for example, we reached a new all-time high, which is around that 9.37 level, approximately around there. Then we did a bit of a retracement, and yeah, today we're seeing a nice little push up. However, can we go for a bit of a retracement? And that could be quite interesting, to be honest, to see maybe this pair retracing lower. And the reason why I'm saying maybe retracing and basically correcting lower, because we still are above this upside line. Tentative, of course, but nevertheless an upside line taken from the low of the 7th of September. In a way, if you're looking for some downside, maybe a drop below yesterday's low here near the 9.2480 zone here, somewhere around here, could do the trick for a few more sellers, and where more of them could join in and drag this pair lower. But again, let's not over speculate on this one, because again, at the moment, it's very difficult to apply technical analysis on this pair, although it's very interesting, very tempting. But yeah, we need to take everything with a pinch of salt here a little bit, and yeah, continue monitoring the situation around, well, and not around, but situation inside the country, Turkey, and yeah, then we'll need to continue monitoring the economic situation of it, and yeah, then maybe you'll have at least a slightly better understanding what we can do with this pair. GBP USD very quickly on this one, so continues to push higher, and we're getting closer to this downside line taken from the high of the 30th of July. This downside line is a bit of a tentative one, but you can see yesterday we came close to that line, to testing that line, but fell shy just a few kind of pips from reaching it. We could have another attempt today. Let's see if that's going to be the case. If I would say it this way, if it stays somewhere above this 1.3773 territory, then yes, I'll aim for this downside line, and then we'll take it from there, because we do have some obstacles here on the way higher, but let's see, like I said, let's see how that's going to play out. For now, like I said, I'm leaning a little bit more towards the upside. However, let's keep an eye on, like I said, on some of these levels, especially this 1.3773. If we stay above it, then yep, my next target is this downside line. Euro JPY, so this one is on fire, continues to be so. And yeah, it seems that there's no stopping here at the moment. We haven't really got that reversal signal yet, as this is what I kept on saying from the beginning of this week. And yeah, so for now it's just one-way traffic here. My next target is the 133.68 level, marked by the high of the 15th of June. But don't get me wrong, at any point this could, if suddenly the fear comes back into the market and the yen buying will suddenly resume, then, well, this pair could fall off the cliff as well. So again, let's not rush into anything. For now, yes, it's moving higher, but looking for that downside. If you are looking for the downside, then wait a little bit, because again, we have not really got that reversal signal yet. And finally, EURUSD, guys, very quickly on this one. So this one also continues to slowly grind higher, I would say, because yesterday we had a nice push. We pushed above this 1.1640 zone. We failed to stay it, but we stayed above that 21-day EMA. Today we're seeing, yeah, another push higher, but we're currently again getting a hold up near that previous highest point of October, near the 1.1640. Yesterday we created a new high for October, and yeah, we're currently staying near that hurdle, near the previous highest point of October. Can we push further north? Well, for now I'm leaning a little bit more towards the upside, also especially if it stays somewhere above this tentative upside line taken from the low of the 13th of October. If that gets broken, well, then we could maybe consider a bit of a move to the downside. So let's not rush into anything. Let's see how this is going to play out, guys, for now. I can see in the chat room here, Evo, yep, good morning to you too. Maybe there's a downside line with GBP USD from June today. So GBP USD, you mean this one right here? I see your point. It's also a tentative one. I mean, again, we're currently getting a hold up here, but either way, even if it pushes above this downside line, I mean, still there is another obstacle here, another tentative line. So this tentative line from the 1st of June, yes, we can keep an eye on it as well, but it's, again, the word tentative here is key, because if it pushes above this downside line, this one that you're referring to, we could go and test this other tentative downside line as well. So again, it's a bit of a subjective here, so we can keep that on the chart, of course, but yeah, in general, let's see if it pushes above this, then, like I said, my next target is this downside line taken from the high of the 30th of July. If that gets cleared, of course, yeah, we'll continue going higher, but at the moment, yes, we're getting a hold of nice hold of near this medium-term downside line. But even so, I mean, if you're looking for some downside, maybe just the break of this short-term tentative upside line together with this 1.3674 level would be needed, and then we could go from there, guys. So So yeah, guys, thank you very much for watching and listening. I'll just have to jump off from the mic here, guys. I mean, thank you very much for listening and watching, and thank you very much for your likes and comments. So yeah, have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.